You know, they say retirement's supposed to be the easy part, the quiet chapter where you trade chaos for calm, swap early mornings for lazy coffee on the porch, maybe even figure out how to bake bread if you can crack the code on yeast. For a while, I thought I'd found that up on Pine Crest Ridge, in a little two-story house with weathered clapboard siding, perched on a hill like a hawk watching over the valley. I'm Jack Thornton, ex-Marine logistics guy, used to making snap calls with lives on the line, but up here in Crestview Pines, I figured I'd left all that behind until Sheila Baxter, our HOA's self-appointed queen, decided my hillside was her personal playground. The house wasn't much, just a sturdy place with a creaky deck out back, a steep slope dropping off behind a rickety fence, all dry grass and juniper bushes. Below, there was this narrow strip of land the HOA called a scenic corridor, which was really just a tangle of weeds and runoff ditches. I liked it that way kept folks from poking around. When I bought the place 3 years back, the seller was practically throwing the keys at me. Too quick to smile, too fast to sign. Should have seen the red flags, but I was bone tired and the price was right. What I didn't know was that slope wasn't just dirt, it was the backbone of my property, holding up my retaining wall, my drainage system, my whole damn foundation. Crestview Pines Community Association, funny name, for a place an hour from any pine worth mentioning wasn't on my radar at first. I paid my dues, hid my trash cans, mowed on schedule, and ignored their newsletters about approved mailbox colors or festive wreaths. I wasn't here to make waves. Then Sheila Baxter rolled in, fresh off her election as HOA president after some drama over a neighbor's tacky garden gnome collection. Sheila was the kind you don't forget. Think pressed blouses, fake smile, and a voice that could cut glass, like she'd never heard no in her life. First time we met, she was at my gate, clipboard in hand, pointing at my unpruned rose bushes like they were a crime scene. "Jack, these don't meet our aesthetic standards," she said, not even looking at me. I chuckled, thinking it was a joke. It wasn't. A week later, a fine landed in my mailbox. That's when I knew Sheila wasn't just annoying, she was trouble. Things got worse when Sheila launched her community enhancement plan. New benches, fancy flower beds, a walking trail nobody asked for. Her hand-picked board rubber-stamped it all, and I stayed out of its scene enough petty-powered rabs in the core to know better than stick my neck out. But one spring morning, I'm sipping coffee on my deck, listening to the sparrows, when this god-awful beeping starts. Not a car, alarm construction equipment. I peer over the railing and see a backhoe tearing into the hillside, right at my property line, with guys in vests spraying paint and pounding stakes like they own the place. I march down, ask a kid with a hard hat what's going on. HOA drainage project. He mumbles, slopes eroding. My slope? I've got the deed, the survey, every inch of that hill mapped out from when I fixed the drainage myself after a storm. This wasn't their land, it was mine. I call the HOA office voicemail. Email auto reply. So I grab my property docs and drive to their community center. Locked tight, nobody home. My old Marine buddy, Claire, now a property lawyer, tells me straight. "This is trespass, Jack. Document everything." So I do. Next day, I'm out there with my phone, filming the backhoe, the trench, the tire tracks creeping 15 feet past my boundary. And then I see a high-voltage utility pole at the edge of my lot. Its concrete base half exposed where they're digging. I know enough from my logistics days to see trouble. That pole's carrying 200 kilovolts, and it's only standing because my soil's holding it up. They're cutting its legs out from under it. I confront the crew, tell the operator he's on my land, trespassing. He just shrugs, swings the boom toward the pole's base, and keeps digging. I'm fuming, filming every move, when a guy in an HOA polo nervous, sweaty, maybe 30 tells me I can't be on their site during operations. "Your site?" I snap, pulling up my survey on my phone. "This is my lot, and you're tearing it apart without a permit. That's illegal." He stammers something about communal runoff and tells me to take it up with Sheila. Oh, I will. That night, I'm at the HOA meeting, still in my work boots, carrying a folder thick with evidence. The room's packed, neighbors sipping lemonade, whispering, while Sheila sits at the front like she's holding court. I don't wait for an invite. You're digging on my property, I say, loud enough for everyone to hear. No notice, no permits, no nothing. Sheila doesn't flinch. The board approved a drainage upgrade, Jack. You got the notice. No, I didn't. I shoot back, holding up a photo of her backhoe 15 feet into my lot. And this isn't your land, it's mine. The room goes quiet. Sheila says they had their own survey, but I'm ready. Your surveyor better be licensed, because this is a lawsuit waiting to happen. I walk out, leaving her staring at her clipboard. Next morning, the backhoe's gone, but the damage isn't. After a drizzle, the slopes sagging, soft patches forming near the pole's base. I call the count and no answer. That night, the power flickers, then dies. I grab a flashlight, step outside, and my stomach drops. The pole's leaning, maybe 10 degrees, wires sagging like they're ready to snap. I've seen enough unstable structures to know this is bad. I call 911. Tell them it's an imminent infrastructure collapse. They listen. Cops show up, then firefighters, then utility crews. Sheila pulls up in her gleaming SUV, all polish and panic, trying to spin it to the site boss. It's a runoff project, she says, voice shrill. We had a survey. The guy cut her off. Did you clear this with the utility company? She freezes. I thought it was far enough. You thought wrong, he says. This could have killed someone. The pole doesn't fall, that night crews brace it with cables, but half the neighborhood's dark for hours. Then the HOA sends me a letter accusing me of obstructing community projects and threatening fines. I laugh, scan it, send it to Claire. She's livid. They're digging their own grave, Jack. A county report lands soon after unauthorized digging caused the pole's instability, plain and simple. I tape a copy to Sheila's door, right where her neighbors can see it. Then the storm hits. Not a big one, just steady rain, but enough to turn that open trench into a muddy mess. I'm out with a flashlight, watching water carve through the dirt, when I hear Ida low groan, metal creaking. The pole's tilting again. I sprint to my neighbor Mike's house, a retired EMT. Get your family inside. I yell. He sees the pole, hears the hum of live wires, and doesn't argue. I warn the next house over, then feel the ground shift, a sickening rumble, a snap, and the pole crashes, twisting into the ditch below, sparks flying, a transformer blowing blue across the sky. The neighborhood goes dark, sirens wail, and Sheila's there again, yelling at a utility worker like she can bully physics itself. Nobody's listening. The news picks it up. They call me a whistleblower, air my footage, show the fake map Sheila's HOA filed, redrawing my property line to steal 20 feet of my land. Neighbors start talking in porches, in group chats about her fines, her threats, her obsession with control. At the next HOA meeting, Sheila tries to play it off as a weather event. I walk to the front, lay out my evidence, my original survey, her forged map, the county's damning report. You didn't just dig on my land, I say, staring her down. You lied, forged documents, and nearly brought a live wire into someone's backyard. The room erupts. Mike stands up, says I saved his family. Others join in. Stories of Sheila's petty tyranny pile up. 3 board members quit on the spot. Sheila storms out, her clipboard useless. I find one last weapon in my safety, a 1984 covenant, inked by the original developer, stating my slope can't be touched without my sign-off, the city's, and the utility companies. Sheila had none of those. Her whole enhancement plan was built on a lie she never owned my land. I hand it to the city attorney, who says, Jack, this is bulletproof. At the city council hearing, I lay it all out: surveys, videos, the covenant. Neighbors speak up, spilling years of grievances. The council shuts down the HOA's projects, suspends the board, and bars Sheila from any role. She sits there, frozen, as her empire collapses. Weeks later, Sheila's gone quiet, her SUV's still there. But her curtains are drawn, her dog silent. A new board forms, led by Mike, with real oversight and no more secret votes. The slope's fixed, green again with wildflowers and proper drainage. I'm on a county task force now, rewriting HOA rules so nobody else gets steamrolled. Neighbors wave, bring pies, ask for advice. One night, I find a note in my mailbox. No name, just cursive. You showed us we're not powerless. Thank you. I sit on my deck, whiskey in hand, looking at the hill, thinking of my late wife, who loved this place. I didn't just save my land, he found my fight again. But here's the thing: Sheila's still out there, probably plotting her comeback. People like her don't quit easy. So what do you think? Was I right to take her down, or did I go too far? Ever had an HOA or does someone try to run your life? Drop a comment, share your story. Let's talk about who really owns our homes, our rights, our ground.